the 7th Uganda Parliamentary election 2016. Electoral Commission of Uganda lacked independence and transparency. All the election they supervised fell short of international standard and lacked any doses of conduct to any democratic election. It is the Electoral Commission and the party in power and the state actors who are instrumental in creating intimidation for the voters and candidates. The military organ had been using excess force against opposition, the media, and the general public. You know, we Africans, when we're in power, we misuse our power for our own benefits. We are very good in violating individual fundamental freedom of speech, movement, and denying them access to information. Imagine you have been in power for 30 years. You definitely have access to funding, media, everything you can put your hand on. You turn public media into a personal property, and those access is not made available to your competitors. All proposed amendments to the electoral legislation compiled by Uganda Citizen Compact to enable to conduct a democratic election, to restore term limits, and to improve parties' financial accountability were disregarded in 2016. Were completely disregarded. I can understand why most of the lawmakers themselves are corrupt to their toes. In 2016, before the election, neo-parliamentary constituencies were demarcated. The population ratio was neglected, which is a direct violation of the principle of equality of any vote across the globe. The right to stand for election is granted by the Constitution, and the requirement for parliamentary candidates to hold advanced educational qualification is a way to restrict the right to candidacy. We should have not gone there. You should have not gone there. We should have not even started those arguments of you have to have a higher education before you come to parliament. That's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. We have to leave it to the people of Uganda, not the people in power, to decide who gets into the parliament and who doesn't. To me, personally, those rules are useless, unlawful, and they're not in their right place. It should be thrown away. You see, the nomination fees that is asked from people who want to step for parliamentary election is too high and is discouraging a lot of people from joining the race. Although in 2016, 1,749 candidates ran for parliamentary seats. We also witnessed that state resources and personnel were used in the campaign. Government officials took active roles supporting NRA campaign. Resident directors, resident commissioners, and high-ranking security officials who are supposed to be in the army were openly supporting national resistance movement candidates. The level play field was completely different. We see the resident district commissioners, we see the army, all these people, whether you are from a ruling party, you should be working to safeguard the interests of Ugandans, not your personal interests, not the interests of the government in power, not the interests of a political party. But we have gone beyond that. It is now openly all these people who were supposed to protect the people of Uganda, they've broken their promises. They've broken their oaths. They should not even be in office. All these people, if they were honest to themselves, they would have said, no, Mr. President, we are here to serve all Ugandans. We are here to protect all Ugandans. We are not going to do your dirty job to intimidate the opposition, to intimidate their supporters, to intimidate whoever try to touch the leopard arms. If you have a little bit of respect left in you, before we move to 2021, some of you would have already created a lot of problems. Some of you who does not want to protect the people of Uganda should step down. Even the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation failed to fulfill its specific duties as a public broadcasting corporation. It became the product of a dictator. Civil society organizations are also not straightforward. With the people of Uganda. Some of them are corrupt. And believe me, they are also in the pocket of the ruling party. Check out, and you will tumble on some hidden facts about civil society. You know, Uganda parliamentary election was held in 2016. If you listen to what I had been saying, and if you listen to what had been going on, still the election was held in 2016. The polling day was declared a national holiday. A national holiday, allowing people to go and cast their votes. And the candidates who ran against the president were 𝐏𝐵𝐴𝐶𝐸, Amama Mbabazi, Abed Vanika in 2001, 2006, and 2011, and 2016. And all this time, this gentleman claimed of votes being rich and violence at polling stations were reported as voting was extended in several locations after a report of people not being allowed to cast their vote. According to the Election Commission, at that time, they said the president was re-elected with 62%. 𝐏𝐵𝐴𝐶𝐸 got 35%. And all those opposition leaders claimed that the election was marred by widespread fraud, voting irregularities, and repeated arrest of opposition leaders and their supporters. The climate of voters' intimidation was there. We know exactly what happened whenever we go for election. But the question is, if we keep going on for election, after 5 years, they go and tear gas us. They deny us the right to vote. We are beaten harm. Then why do you go for a vote? Why do you go for election? You know, the same government that is beating us up went to the bush because they said the election was rich. There was no freedom. But here are the same people who are denying us that freedom to vote. But if you go deep and try to find out who are really these people who are in power today, these are the people who had been eating together with the president of Uganda People Congress when he was in power. These are the people who were putting on Ugandan army uniform during daytime, and at night they become rebels. These are the people who were even doing investigation in Obote's government and work with him together, are the people who are in power today. So you tell me, does that sound fair to you? The people who were in uniform, Uganda Army's uniform, and you accuse those army of Dr. Apollo Milton Obote to have committed atrocities in Uganda. That's why you went to fight against him. You were in the army. You were putting on that uniform. During daytime, you're working in the office. During night, you were a rebel somewhere else. Let's not be naive. A lot of these people, they learned the trick from Uganda People's Congress. The intelligence service of that organization was being run entirely by people from Western Uganda and some people from Langa. So tell me that you know more than others, but you are the same people, just wearing a different goat's dress, a goat skin, to try to confuse people. You see, the European Union and United States criticized the election of 2016, that it lacked transparency and the tension of opposition candidates, but did nothing to correct such a situation. You see, it's very easy to condemn a government and then at the same time you work together with them. So what do we believe in now? What should we believe in? What should Uganda people believe in? That you are our friends? That you are our enemies? That you want to see democratic process in this country? No, I don't think so. Overseers from the Commonwealth of Nations were also critical of misuse of state power in favor of the ruling government. Members of the parliament were elected in single-member constituency using the past voting in addition. A number of seats were reserved for female candidates. The parliamentary election, if you see, in 2011, had 375 seats. But they voted to increase the number of constituencies to 418 for the 2016 election. The election, all this election had been supervised by the Electoral Commission of Uganda, which registered 15,277,198 voters. Let me tell you, keep on going to vote, but to be honest, Uganda as a country has not seen a single peaceful transfer of power in the country since we got independence in 1962. Let's hope the 2011 election will be different from all other elections we had. You know, it is time for all of us Ugandans to say, enough is enough. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to subscribe. I will be back.